Ladies and gentlemen, is a country where 84% men and 71% women are non-vegetarians, the last thing we should expect is food fascism. But we live in very strange times where eating meat or chicken on certain days gets you labeled as Maoists and people with Mughal mindsets. And so in that spirit, a university mess turned into an ideological akhada with students clashing with each other. The day was Shivaratri. The campus was that of the South Asian University in Delhi. It's a university that houses students of all SAARC nations, including Pakistan, Afghanistan, Maldives, Sri Lanka, etc. Now, because it was Shivratri, there was Satvik food arranged for all those students who were fasting. But because it was also a Wednesday, fish too was served as per the mess menu. It's a tradition in the hostel that on Wednesdays, fish will be served. Now, a fight that is on your screens broke out because Satvik food was allegedly served near the fish curry. What started as a verbal altercation turned into a physical boxing match, with the mess representative, Yashada Sawant, being caught in the crossfire. The fish curry took a beating as well. Take a look. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the university does not have politically affiliated student bodies. But, well, the politics of food is too tempting to stay away from, so both the right-wing ABVP and the left-leaning SFI jumped right in, launching a social media battle against each other. The ABVP called students defending the fishy business Maoists. The SFI, in turn, accused the Puritans of being food fascists. Listen in.
तो महा शिवरात्रि पर जिन भी छात्र छात्राओं ने व्रत रखा था उन सबको सात्विक खाना प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा था और ये व्यवस्था डीन ऑफ स्टूडेंट द्वारा की गई थी। तो सुबह तो हम लोगों को सात्विक खाना मिल चुका था, बट दोपहर को जब हम लंच करने के लिए जा रहे थे तो लंच में सात्विक खाने के बगल में नॉन-वेज खाना भी रखा हुआ था। तो हमने मेस मैनेजर और मेस रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से बोला कि आप इस नॉन-वेज खाने को हटवा दीजिए, थोड़ा अलग रखवा दीजिए। तो उन्होंने हमसे बोला कि नहीं, ये नॉन-वेज खाना इसके बगल में ही रखा रहेगा, अगर आपको खाना है तो आप खा लीजिए, वरना कोई बात नहीं। तो फिर हमने अपने साथ के एक पीएचडी वाले भैया हैं उनको बुलाया, उन्होंने भी उन लोगों से बात करी और बोला कि इस खाने को साइड हटवा दीजिए। तो उन्होंने नहीं हटवाया और इसके बाद वो हम लोगों से गाली गलौज करने लगे।
That is one version of the story, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, the South Asian University is a joint venture between all SAARC nations. All SAARC nations have funded this university. So it has students who practice different religions. Can then one community impose dietary restrictions on the other? Yes. Many Hindus, including me, will not consume meat on festival days. But does that mean that we insist that others insist on it as well? Others follow it as well? Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't just the South Asian University. Many social media users across India complained that Swiggy Instamart refused to deliver meat and eggs on Shivratri. When we checked personally from our end here at Mirror Now, fish and meat and chicken was available in Calcutta, but not in Mumbai and Delhi and Bangalore. Come Navratra or Sawan, the sale of meat shops across many districts in the more pious parts of the country are shut down. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a proud and secular democracy with 6 religions and 1,600 dialects. Our constitution gives us the right to eat what we want and when we want. Is the Shivaratri showdown then over Satvik food and fish food fascism, or does it reflect a lack of sensitivity? Could it have been better handled? My guest this evening, Aisha Ghosh, is a former president of JNU. She's a member of the SFI, joining us on the broadcast. Hopefully, we'll be joined by Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate. Rashmi Samant is an activist joining us on the broadcast. And Ashish Singh is the state joint secretary of the ABVP. He is joining us on the broadcast as well. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. Ashish Singh, I'm going to start with you. What exactly was the problem if Satvik food was kept alongside fish curry? After all, no one forced anyone to eat that fish curry. Whoever wanted to eat Satvik food could eat Satvik food. Whoever wanted to eat the fish curry could eat the fish curry. Where was the reason to get into a fight over something as trivial as this?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. But I guess you're asking the wrong question here. The question should be, and before I come to what the question should be, I'll give you a sequence of events. I think you gave the sequence of events at the start, but I'll still reiterate that 110 students who stayed at the Sau campus wanted to observe a fast for Maha Shivratri, and they said that they will be needing Satvik food. They wrote to their DOS. The DOS permitted it. There are two separate mess there at the Sau. He allowed them to have Satvik food separately in the smaller mess. Now my question is, there are a lot of tables there. The mess has a lot of area. Why did one particular mess representative who belonged to SFI, who is a member of SFI, take fish in a bowl, fish curry in a bowl, and why did she forcefully keep it at a place where students were having Satvik food? And even after the students requested that we are observing our fast, we are having Satvik food, please take it away from here. She started fighting with them. She started abusing them. It is all on video. You can see the fight that broke out there. That's on the video. So my question is, and what the question should, in my opinion, really be, is this a part of a larger conspiracy? Sau being, like you said, an institute established by SARC, international university. Was it being used as a platform? Did left want to use it as a platform to show that there is no communal harmony, as the Mahakumbh has proved, as the students have proved across campuses? When students, Hindu and Muslim students, were celebrating Diwali together in Jamia Millia Islamia, these same people tried to disrupt it. When during the Mahakumbh celebrations, we have seen more than 60 crore people visited Prayagraj, and Muslims opened their homes for Hindu devotees who faced issues related to travel and food.
Ashish.
When the country is moving towards a harmonious place, ma'am, please let me complete. I'll take 30 more seconds here. Was Sau, being an international university, used as a launch pad to put the idea out to the world that India is not as religiously tolerant as its people are actually? That should be the real question.
Okay, Ashish, what I thought was a question over food choices and us imposing food choices on the others. I mean, this is something like this has not just happened in the South Asia University. It happened with Swiggy Instamart as well. It has happened in IITs as well. But let Aishi Ghosh come and defend herself and the SFI. Aishi, you've just heard the charges that the ABVP is making. He is making this about a larger conspiracy by the left to defame India in the eyes of the international world. Go ahead.
So first of all, I'll start with the points that Ashish raised and claiming that the student who was there was a member of the SFI. First of all, Ashish should get it right. The student was not a member of SFI. There were a collective of students who were opposing the move that the ABVP tried to bring in and the debate they tried to bring in. First of all, that only Satvik food will be allowed and no other food choices should be there available at the mess. What we wanted to say through our statement, official statement, and I want to say it on record, each and every individual citizen inside this country have their right to practice their food choices, have their right to practice whatever religion they want, have their right to practice whatever cultural festival, religious festivals they want at their space. But the point is, when somebody tries to impose their beliefs on the other, for example, as you said, and you have factually started off saying that 80%, more than 80% of Indians, we have dietary options, dietary choices, which are vivid, which are different from each other. And hence, I come from the state of West Bengal. And in many of the religious festivals there, it's not that compulsorily people consume only vegetarian food. Now, that is part of our culture. And that might be same in different parts of this country. And it has nothing to do with shaming or maligning a particular religious community. It has nothing, because many of this community come from the Majoritarian community that Ashish was trying to hint. Secondly, there is no debate about Mahakumbh and other things that has been unnecessarily brought into this debate. It is very clear that anyone has right to eat Satvik food. They should have Satvik food. The mess should make provisions for them. But at the same time, if people want to consume non-veg or other vegetarian options, that also should be provided. So we in a campus should be able to practice all these things in a very harmonious way. Now the point is, why did a fight break out? Why did a fight had to break out? Because these people are trying to, AVP is continuously trying to do this. It has not happened in South Asian University for the first time. In an international university, we are expecting international students also to be there. So we are not going to say them that only certain option of dietary options are only available. This has happened before in IIT. This has happened yesterday in Delhi through different food apps, that you will be only able to consume certain dietary options. Which means what? Which means what? There is a certain section who is trying to impose their dietary choices on other people, as if other people don't have any food choices and they can't exist if they have other food choices. Okay. For example, I'll end off by saying the university that we study in, that I study in, Jawaharlal Nehru University, yesterday there were students who kept fasting. And we had yesterday was Wednesday, and we generally have non-veg in our hostels because it's a Wednesday. So we had non-veg option, we had veg options also, and we also had vrat food, fasting food for students who were fasting for Maha Shivratri. So there are spaces where you can actually have better food choices, inclusive food choices. The problem is when certain section of groups, which is the ABVP in South Asian University, try to impose and break a fight. And what is very disturbing is you are trying to slap a woman. You are trying to think that because you are a certain section, you can slap a woman, heckle her, and impose your choices inside this university. Is not a way. If there were some other issues related to this, it could be sorted out through verbal communication, which is also something which should be highlighted. What has happened after that?
Aisha, you've made your point. I think you made your point. Let me get in Rashmi Samant as well. Rashmi Samant, how does this become? How does the serving of meat or fish on Shivaratri? I mean, if you look at the versions, there are two different versions of the same incident that are coming to light. Right now, it is difficult to say who's right and who's wrong. But this is over the serving of non-vegetarian food on Maha Shivratri. Rashmi Samant, how has this all suddenly become about targeting Hindu festivals, about Hindus being made to feel apologetic about their traditions? This was a group of Hindus who were clashing.
Well, Shreya, I think firstly, the whole idea that food is being politicized is being underplayed to a large extent. There's a huge historical context to how Hindus were being force-fed meat in Bharat when the invaders first set their foot here and were intolerant towards Hinduism. The first sign of intolerance towards Hindu dharma has been targeting their food choices. So I don't think, underplaying this is going to serve anybody, because there's a large historical context to mass conversions and how food is directly linked to that. And it is no trivial matter. Secondly, even in international universities, I've studied at the University of Oxford. Vegan food is kept very separately from meat food. It is not served together, because they respect the choices of people. It goes beyond religion as well. It goes beyond to, sensitivity to other life on earth. And this is recognized across religions, even in countries which are secular, even in international universities like Oxford. The minute the girl in the video chose to take her fish and go near the Satvik people and try to, seek her rights among students who are practicing Shivratri, I think she's trying to infringe upon their freedom to practice vegetarianism on one day of the 365 days. Here, students are not seeking, Satvik food on 365 days. It's just one day that they're seeking an exception. They're seeking, respect for their practices. Why can't a secular nation respect practices for one single day of 365 days? Is this country that intolerant that even one day is too heavy upon the practices of the few? I think it should be absolutely respected, and the sequence of events are being largely misunderstood. That is also another point. If you look at the whole video, you can see that one particular girl wants to eat her fish with students who are sitting separately and are being Satvik. What business does she have trying to infringe upon their rights? She can eat her fish separately. Nobody is seeking exemption or complete ban of meat on the SAU campus. Even ABVP has made it very clear that they didn't ask for the banning of meat or fish. All they asked is for separate space. All they asked is for respect. And I think this country can attribute at least that much, especially when we have a history of Hindus being, completely marauded on their food choices. And I think Swiggy and Instamart, it's a private company. They can choose to do whatever they want to. They're not the government of India. They can, practice what they want to. If you have a problem with it, boycott them and, have certain economic ramifications. And if you think this is a joke, then it's not a joke to many
that's
of us.
exactly the argument someone who wants to eat non-vegetarian food on Savan or on Navaratri or on Shivaratri can make as well. But Sanjay Hegde, can I just extend the logic that is being given by Ms. Sawant? रुक जाइए. अच्छा ठीक है. Okay, I heard you.
What I'm saying
now, I'll just extend the argument that
pick things which are convenient for you. We are asking for separate spaces here, and these separate spaces are given internationally as well. And you're
Rashmi, I heard you, so did the viewers. Rashmi, I heard you, so did the viewers. Now let Mr. Hegde come in, please. Ladies, let Mr. Hegde come in, please. Thank you very much. I've heard both of you. Thank you very much. Mr. Hegde, I'm just going to extend the argument that Rashmi has given. Many people will also argue that look at places like Saudi Arabia, look at places like Tunisia. During the month of Ramadan, no eatery is open till the eating hours for the Muslims. From dawn to dusk, all eating joints are shut. No one can eat. If you eat out in public, you will be penalized. So why this halabaloo over meat and egg and chicken not being made available either by Swiggy, Instamart or other university campuses? Why the big halabaloo? As Rashmi says, it's only one day.
So, firstly, we are not Saudi Arabia or Tunisia or any non-secular country. As far as I last checked, we are a secular country. Everybody has a right to the food of their choice. Yes, Rashmi has the right to the food of her choice, but she has no right to impose her choices on others. If it is a university, all spaces are open to everybody. It cannot be that, some spaces are reserved only for vegetarians. And this one-day argument is no argument, because every day you can find some reason or the other to say people should be vegetarian. There are Tuesdays, there are people who are vegetarians on Thursdays, etc., etc., etc. Secondly, there is a major section of Hinduism, and including Shiva worshippers, who offer meat and even liquor to Shiva. Just go to the Bhairav Mandir near the Supreme Court, and you will see people offering liquor continuously. So there is no one orthodox version of Hinduism. There is no one definitive book which says that only this is allowed and this is not allowed. We are a society that practices tolerance, and tolerance simply means watch your own plate, do your thing. Do not be bothered as to what the other person is doing, and do not try to impose yourself on others. Food choices are extremely private choices. They have been held by the Supreme Court to come within the zone of privacy. Each one is entitled to have the food of his choice and be respected for that.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll get, fair enough. I can hear you. I think I have a minute left on this debate. So I'll give 30 seconds to Aishi and 30 seconds to Rashmi in case they want to make any concluding remarks. Aishi,
I like to
please go ahead.
interject. I'd like to interject here. I have a
Ashish
few
also wants to come in.
clarifications
Okay,
to make.
30 seconds each then.
All right.
30 seconds each. Wait, just a minute. Let Aishi go first and then you can come in. Aishi, go ahead, please.
See, we are very clear that everyone has their right to food choices, and we completely believe that food choices is individuals, and that should not be, whether you are a non-vegetarian, vegetarian, vegan, whatever it is, it should not be imposed on any individual, and this things should not be imposed in a systemic way. Whoever wants to have whatever food, they can have it, and university space or any space within the society should not be imposing any kind of food choices on anyone. And there is no particular problem with individual food choices. The issue was when a systemic exclusion happens.
Okay, Rashmi, 30 seconds.
Well, systemic imposition has always led to human rights violations in this country. And you can look as to how one particular community has suffered as a result of that. And I do genuinely believe that Hindus do deserve a space to practice, Satvik food habits, and others are free to do as they choose to in other spaces. Nobody's trying to take away anybody's choice, but I think everybody should be accorded a safe space to practice what they believe in.
Okay. Ashish Singh, 30 seconds. Go ahead, please. Last comment.
Sure. We are the largest party in Delhi University. We are the largest party in Delhi University, and we are the single largest party in JNU. Aishi said that non-veg, veg, and Satvik, all three types of food were prepared in JNU yesterday. I went to DU hostels. All three types of food were prepared in DU hostels yesterday. But there was no instance of violence. This shows who is instigating violence. The left, the SFI, they are instigating violence because they want to send out a political message.
Let me remind you, the JNU the JNU Students Union, and here there is a student union by the left. When you have to accuse, you can't be deciding according to your own convenience. That ABVP is the single largest party, so that's why it happened in JNU and DU.
Fight against each other.
Aishi, not fair. Let Ashish have his...
win that election by a margin of 200 votes. And rest assured, Aishi, in the coming elections,
if this is what you want to argue about,
and we get 25,000
if this is what you want to argue about, I'm not having it. Mr. Hegde, is raat ki subah nahi.
I'm sorry? No, this thing can go on.
Nothing. Go ahead, please.
I just have one comment to make. I object to the word non-veg. There is food, and then there is vegetarian food, or there's vegan food. Do not start this thing by a negative connotation, non-veg, as if veg is normal. Veg is not normal.
Personal choice.
Vegan is not normal.
Everybody. Well, at least two
The
of us
majority
believe
of
that
It's a point of view. We'll leave it there for a moment.
Like you
Bapre. We leave it there. I'm completely out of time. I'm just going to thank everyone for coming in on the show because we did manage to get all points of views in. Our viewers are smart enough, so we let them decide who was right and who was wrong. Thank you very much, Ashish Singh, for joining us. Mr. Hegde, good to have you on the show. Rashmi Samant, thank you very much. And Aishi, thank you very much for joining us as well. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm slipping into a break. My colleague Shreya Dhoundial is joining you at the top of 9 with all the day's top stories. Do stay with us.